All right, where are we going next?
Olympic National Park.
Olympic National Park. All right, so Olympic National Park is on the peninsula, this part right here of Washington. So my daughter and my wife flew into Seattle, picked them up, and then we drove all the way around. And we actually went and we camped in the big part here. And then there's this other part along the coast here, which is also part of the national park. We also camped in one of those spots. Saw some rainforests. We didn't actually make it all the way up to Mount Olympus, which is named after the one in Greece. It's a big volcano. So things that are cool about it. Let's take a look. Glaciers, okay? A lot of glaciers in the area. Marmots. Yeah, filthy marmots. We didn't see any marmots. So there was a lot of people backpacking when we were there. Like you had to get permits to kind of go up to that area. We stayed in Dirty Dave the van, but you can see that like this is the way out to the Pacific Ocean. And then like if you were to go in this way, there's like a lot of like areas with Seattle and stuff that are well known for like well, originally it was fishing and like lumber and stuff like that. So anyway, there's a bunch of glaciers you can check out while you're there. If you get deep into the park, a lot of them are receding at this present time because of temperatures going up. Yeah. So you want to look at some pictures, Kenley?
Fine.
Relive the trip. All right. What is this? What are you climbing on? Do you remember?
Favorite?
Yes, the tree. It was a big redwood tree. And the thing about the root system is they spread out. They don't necessarily go super deep. So, like, even though they get really, really big, you'll definitely see them that have fallen over with the winds and stuff, especially as the soil gets wet. We happened to be there at a pretty lucky time. It wasn't that wet. So then they find their way down the mountain and they get carried by the rivers and things. There's a lot of like free rivers, like they don't have dams on them. So that's my wife standing next to something about the same size that made its way down to the coast. There was driftwood everywhere. So that's Kenley climbing on it. You remember camping in here? Remember how thick it was?
Uh-huh. My mom almost fell.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's a little bit treacherous walking around. And part of this area was used for the filming of the movie Twilight with Forks, Washington. Remember what this is? What's that? Banana slugs. And banana slugs have different colors depending on what they've eaten. So this one, you can tell it's a little more brown. Other ones you might see are more yellow. All right, so it's kind of neat when you see these things all stacked up. People do that just kind of sometimes for trail markers. Sometimes they just do it as designs. Looks like most of this is andesite though. So it's kind of neat. You can definitely tell it's been through a river too based on the wear patterns of it's all smooth. Kelly won her National Park Junior Ranger program there. So she had to do a bunch of work in her notebooks and stuff and go to a ranger led meeting to get her Junior Ranger badge. Well, it's all about learning things. So there's a bunch of the driftwood again. And you can see, I'll show you more pictures. It's an extremely flat beach because it's closer to where Juan de Fuca is subducting underneath. So it creates like this gradual coastline. It's pretty cool. Decomposer right there with the mushroom because it's a rainforest. You definitely have a lot of breaking down of the different, organic material there. This is me waiting to take a picture. You might look at this and you're like, what language is that? Well, the area was like, had a lot of Russians that came through with Russian fur trappers. And at one point, we actually bought it from Russia, the United States. So there's the peninsula again. Okay, and you can see the Strait of Juan de Fuca. It's my favorite plate. And then that's the coastline that we camped. And then the other day that we camped somewhere around here, that's Mount Olympus right there. And rainbow line, unicorn rainbow line, making magic. Yeah. A lot of pretty neat trails though. You don't have to go any of the super elaborate ones if you don't want to. I think this is showing you an area of hot springs. Anytime you see a hot spring, you know it's geothermal, which means it's still magma is underneath heating up the water. Ooh, this is part of the rainforest. You can definitely see the ferns. And that's Kenley walking on a giant tree that fell down. So just think this whole area fills with water at times. Like that's the river right now. But then when they get a bunch of rain, this whole area, you can definitely flash floods. You got to be careful. Kenley throwing rocks. Yeah, and you can see how the ocean makes its way up here and it cuts away at the edges of the cliffs. Weathers it away. And you can definitely see the sediment in there. Kind of interesting. Look at how flat that beach is. Man, that is a flat beach. Talking about the subduction zone right along the coast, and you can see how um, this is the area where we have tsunamis because it's a really flat coastline. Um, it allows the water to like kind of build on itself as it tumbles. Talked about that a lot in class. Now, I was always telling my family, like, do you need to be worried about tsunamis? Not really, because there's going to be an earthquake before the tsunami. That's it. That's Olympic National Park. You have anything that you want to say? Was that a fun camping trip? Guess right.